Shalom. First and foremost, I want to begin by giving all praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai Bahashem, Rakha Kodash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of the great millstone who told me this truth. Much respect to the Akim out there labeling his work. And peace and salutation to the hopefully elect who is scattered abroad across the four winds of the earth. To you I say Shalom. Yeah, so Salaki for my voice, kind of congested or whatever. But I hope it comes out clear through the spirit. So, hey, show must go on. But yeah, I want to go into a quick lesson. It's dealing with the recent executive order or whatever Trump just signed off on. Pretty much paving way for, his teeth to be shown and to devour, man. In which we know that these devils secretly, want to devour the poor. That is your Israelites with their military, man. So this was being paved, pretty much set in stone, should I say, or set in play. Because you jakes out there are pretty much a terror in Egypt. You so-called blacks, Latino, Native Americans. You're becoming a terror to Egypt. And now these devils are saying that they want to do something about it. Enough is enough. All right. After they didn't supplied you with the drugs, the guns, the rap culture, the YN culture, and all that bullshit that motivates you to do these things, to act out, irrationally, to become like straight up brute beasts. To where now these devils are looking at you like, damn, look at these motherfuckers. We got to get them off the street. They're killing people, without a cause. They're uncontrollable. And they're just animals. They need to be put down. So, yeah, these devils for a long time have been building up you Israelites, you so-called blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans for this very moment to where they can blame you, all right, for these things that are going on so they can finally get their teeth upon you, man, the military. So here we are. So right here from, U.S. Department of Defense, National Guard Task Force mobilized to restore safety in nation's capital. President Donald J. Trump declared a crime emergency in the nation's capital today and vowed to make its streets safe again for both residents and visitors. All right. So yeah, without going into all of that, we're gonna go into this video, this conference right here that they had. Trump declares public safety emergency, places Washington D.C. under federal control. All right. So I highlighted a couple of points I want to highlight in this video. This pretty much shows you exactly who they're talking about, and which is really not a secret now. Seeing that these devils are, basically changing their countenance. They're letting you know exactly who they are and who they got a problem with without being so discreet. Okay, it's being made more obvious of who is the problem, in which you Israelites are the face of terror as they're painting. So let's go ahead and play this real quick, and of course, we're gonna get back into the script because we're in that time, man.
Roving thugs after defending a young woman from an attempted carjacking. He was left dripping in blood. He thought he was dead, with a broken nose and concussion. Can't believe that he's alive. He can't believe it. In June, a 21-year-old congressional intern was tragically killed after being hit by a stray bullet in a drive-by shooting. A former Trump administration official named Mike Gill, fantastic person, was murdered last year in cold blood in a carjacking blocks away from the White House. We all knew him. Great person. Waiting for his wife as she was walking to the car. A Democrat congressman was also carjacked at gunpoint not far from the Capitol. And in 2023, an aide to Senator Rand Paul was stabbed in the chest and head by a demented lunatic as he walked down the street, just absolutely for no reason. Horrifically, last July 4th weekend, a 3-year-old girl was shot in the head and killed while sitting in a car near the Capitol. It's becoming a situation of complete and total lawlessness. And we're getting rid of the slums, too. We have slums here. We're getting rid of them. I know it's not politically correct. You'll say, oh, so terrible. No, we're getting rid of the slums where they live.
Hell, we getting rid of the slums where they live. So, yeah, who live in the slums, man?
Slum.
What is a slum? A squalid and overcrowded urban street or district inhabited by very poor people. Poor people. All right. Similar words. Hovel, ghetto. All right. Ghetto. See? A poor urban area occupied primarily by a minority group or groups. See? Oh, here we go. Resembling or characteristic of a ghetto or its inhabitants, especially with relation to African American culture. See that? So yeah, slums is talking about the projects, man. All right. Let's see that again.
Year-old girl was shot in the head and killed while sitting in a car near the Capitol. It's becoming a situation of complete and total lawlessness. And we're getting rid of the slums, too. We have slums here. We're getting rid of them. I know it's not politically correct. You'll say, oh, so terrible. No, we're getting rid of the slums where they live. Caravans of mass youth rampage through city streets at all times of the day. There are ATVs, motorbikes. They travel pretty well. Entire neighborhoods are now under emergency curfews. Just this past weekend, gunfire went through, and you saw that, the Navy Yard. I saw it this morning. I saw that they fought back against law. See, they fight back until you knock the hell out of them, because it's the only language they understand. But they fought back against law enforcement last night. And they're not going to be fighting back long, because I've instructed them and told them whatever happens, they love to spit in the face of the police. As the police are standing up there in uniform, they're standing and they're screaming at them an inch away from their face. And then they start spitting in their face. And I said, you tell them, you spit and we hit. And they can hit real hard. It's a disgusting thing. I've watched that for years, for 3-4 years. I've watched them. The police are standing, and they're told, don't do anything under any such of this. And you can see they want to get at it. And they're standing there, and people are spitting in their face, and they're not allowed to do anything. But now they are allowed to do whatever the hell they want.
All right. Let's skip forward.
Off the street, maybe get them out of the country, because a lot of them came into our country. We'll tell you about it. We will bring in the military if needed. People say, oh, that's so terrible. He's going to bring in, it's been used many times over the years. I don't think we'll need it. I think we've got so many great people, including the people that are in the police department with proper leadership. They'll immediately begin massive enforcement operations targeting known gangs, drug dealers, and criminal networks to get them the hell off the street, maybe get them out of the country, because a lot of them came into our country illegally. They shouldn't have been allowed in. They come from Venezuela. They come from all over the world. We're going to get them the hell out. They won't be here long. But some of these people, a lot of them, are homegrown criminals. And these are bad people. These are rough people. And this is just a list of some of the people that were given to me today that were criminals removed from the D.C. streets this weekend. They were rough and tough. But we're rougher and tougher. Look at these people here. Nothing, they're not going to be your local school teacher. Given to me today that were criminals removed from the D.C. streets this weekend. They were rough and tough, but we're rougher and tougher. Look at these people here. Nothing, they're not going to be your local.
Yeah, so as you can see, no, that's a Jake right there. It might be a Jake too, but yeah, we know that Jake is pretty much at the forefront of the madness that he's talking about. Jake riding down the street with ATVs and dirt bikes and all this. So yeah, I mean, slums. It ain't hard to see who's the target here, But let's skip on forward. As we can see, Trump said that, for a long time, the cops weren't able to do nothing. But now he finna let them do whatever they want to do. So yeah. All right, we're in that season.
Would you say a few words, please?
Thank you very much, Mr. President, and thank you, Madam Attorney General, and to all my partners here. We all want the same thing. We all want a safe city. We want a safe capital. We want to be able to bring our families here. We want to be able to come and enjoy the history that makes this place great. And unfortunately, we are not in that position right now. And Mr. President, I want to thank you for taking the step that we need right now to make criminals understand that they are not going to get away with it anymore. And I'm not going to stand here and go over and over the cases. But what I can tell you is this. I see too much violent crime being committed by young punks who think that they can get together in gangs and crews and beat the hell out of you or anyone else. They don't care where they are. They can be in DuPont Circle, but they know that we can't touch them. Why? Because the laws are weak. I can't touch you if you're 14, 15, 16, 17 years old and you have a gun. I convict someone of shooting another person with an illegal gun on a public bus in the chest, intent to kill. I convict him. And you know what the judge gives him? Probation. Says you should go to college. We need to go after the D.C. Council and their absurd laws. We need to get rid of this concept of, no cash bail. We need to recognize that the people who matter are the law-abiding citizens. And it starts today. But it's not going to end today because the president is going to do everything we need to do to make sure that these emboldened criminals understand we see you, we're watching you, and we're going to change the law to catch you. And my
to catch you, right? Let's go here real quick. Let's see, the dragon is rough, as we can see. Esau's very rough with the woman. Psalms 10. And verse 8. So it says here, he sitteth in the lurking places of the villages, in the secret places, which is really dealing with your secret councils, all right? How they counsel against Jake, your Israelites. Does he murder the innocent? His eyes are privily set against the poor. See? The ones in the slums. And pretty much, the poor represents the elect, to get down to the root of the problem. Still, the elect that had his testimony, but overall, Jake is the poor. So it says he lieth and wait secretly as a lion in his den. All right, he lieth and wait to catch the poor. See what she said? We want to catch you. He lieth and wait to catch the poor. He does catch the poor when he draweth them into his net, his trap. See, because Jake don't understand, like they've been set up. These devils have gave you everything that you needed to become a terrorist in America. Now they justified into accusing you, and bringing forth the sword now, man. So let's get Revelation 12. Slakia. Voice. So yeah, let's go to Revelation 12 and 10. So here it says, and I heard a loud voice saying in heaven, now has come salvation and strength in the kingdom of our power. All right. Yahweh Bashmal Shai. All right, Yahweh and the power of his anointed, which is Yahweh Shai Slakia. For the accuser of our brethren is cast down, which accuse him before our power day and night, because they're the ones that, forward sin within Jake's neighborhoods and promote sin pretty much and cause them to go off so that he can accuse us into the Father. All right, but eventually the accuser is going to be cast down. Let's see what this word accuser means. Strong G2723, categoreo, and let's go into the synonyms. It says right here, to accuse with primary reference to the ground of the accusation, the crime, to make a verbal assault, which reaches its goal, all right? And what is that goal? To devour the poor. So it says to accuse formally before a tribunal bring a charge against publicly, man. That's exactly what you're saying right now. They bringing charges against you, Jakes, publicly. letting the world know that you are a terrorist that needs to be dealt with. So it's saying here that the accuser, right, which is Esau, who likes to categorize, you know, Jake, is eventually going to be cast down. Okay. So it says, and they overcame him by the blood of the Lamb. And they it's talking about the elect of Jacob. And they overcame Esau by the blood of the Lamb, because eventually the elect are going to be found innocent, although they're going to be accused. And by the word of their testimony, as we're prophesying against these devils, this is what they're worried about for real. The word going out. All right, because there was another article I was going into from the People's Voice, going into how Trump is going to bring forth draconian measures to stop anti-Semitism, in which it really goes back into stopping the testimony of Yahushua. So it says, and they love not their lives unto the death. All right, because our life is not here. Our life begins in the kingdom of heaven. So it says, therefore rejoice ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them. All right, the elect overall. But woe or destruction to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea, for the devil is come down unto you having great wrath, because he know that they have but a short time. They're seeing chariots, they're seeing so-called black men get on ships, so they know their time is short. Okay, so we see that these devils are moving to set you jakes up so they can fulfill their bloodlust. So scrolling down to verse 17, it says, and a dragon was wroth with the woman. Dragon, Esau, and his sister, was wroth or pissed off with the woman Israel, and went to make war with the remnant of her seed. Okay, which keep the commandments of the Most High and had the testimony of Yahweh Shah Mashiach. Right? So they're secretly shooting at the poor. And as Trump is saying, like, we're gonna take the homeless off the streets and all that. Okay, we're gonna send troops in the streets to tackle the crime, which all this stuff is secretly geared towards them being allowed to round up, the ones who had a testimony of Yahweh. Let's get this real quick. Psalm 37:12. It says, the wicked plotteth against the just. See, it's a secret plot and plan, scheme against the just, the elect, who had his word, and gnasheth upon him with his teeth. What's his teeth? That's his military, man. What he used to devour. So it says, the Lord shall laugh at him, for he sees that his day is coming. Okay? So the wicked are drawn out the sword, and have bent their bow to cast down the poor and needy, and to slay such as be of upright conversation. They've had enough, as they say. And now they're going to allow the police or whatever, the National Guard, to do whatever they need to do, to bring back order to the streets. So, yeah, the wicked have drawn out the sword. And that's Eldar Rum always goes into, like, before you use a sword, you got to draw it out. So there's a method to that. All right, a motion to that, in which you're getting that sword ready, and they do that by the way of their legislations, executive orders. Okay, and let's go into this word drawn real quick. Strong's H6605. Man, total 144. Call it Bashimasha. So one of the words here is to carve or engrave. Okay. And
engrave.
Going to this word engrave, you get inscribe. Inscribe means to write or carve words or symbols onto something, especially as a formal or permanent record. See? So before they actually use a sword, the military, they're going to sign off on legislations. All right? So when they draw the sword, that's them literally sign off on legislations paving way for that to take place. It speaks about swords being in their mouth, right? So again, the wicked have drawn out the sword, right? And have bent their bow to cast down the poor and needy, and the slave, so to be of upright conversation. So it's really geared towards the men on the highways and byways telling this man that he's going into captivity. America's going to be destroyed. Yahweh Shai is coming back as an angelic being to destroy this man. See? So they're secretly shooting at the poor. This is what it's all about. They want to shoot in secret. Psalm 64:4. And let's get this in the NOT. Yeah, so verse 1, it says, "Oh, power, Yahweh Bashmashah, listen to my complaint and protect my life from my enemies' threats. Hide me from the plots of this evil mob and from this gang of wrongdoers." See, they sharpen their tongues like swords. See, swords in their mouth, because this is how they justify themselves into using force, which is by the legislations, and aim their bitter words like arrows. It says they shoot from ambush at an innocent, attacking suddenly and fearlessly. All right. Let's go back to the KJV. So verse 4, Psalm 64:4, it says that they may shoot in secret at the perfect. You see that? It's a secret attempt to get at the ones who are testifying against Esau, the prophets. Suddenly do they shoot at him and fear not. So they encourage themselves in an evil matter. They commune and laying snares or traps privately, man. This is a trap they setting up. They say, "Who shall see them?" Because they speak with a double tongue. They don't let you know exactly what their true motives are. But we see exactly who, this is really geared towards through the Spirit. But speaking about that snare, we go to Proverbs 1:17 real quick. It says, "Surely in vain is a net spread in the sight of any bird." Okay? So this snare that is setting, this trap, is in vain. Dealing with the elect. The elect is that bird. All right, because it tells you in I think it's Psalm 124. Yeah, the point is in verse 7. We'll start at verse 1 and then we'll close it out. So praise for rescue from enemies. It says, "If it had not been the Lord, Yahweh Bashmashah, who was on our side, now may Israel say, if it had not been the Lord who was on our side, when men rose up against us," that's what they're about to do, "then they had swallowed us up quick when their wrath was kindled against us." Then the waters had overwhelmed us, the stream had gone over our soul. Then the proud waters had gone over our soul. This is Esau and his military, the proud waters, which is going to be an overwhelming military presence, as he got, I forgot how many he got out there, man. How many troops was it? 800 right now. Yep. Approximately 800 soldiers were activated today. And it's going to be more. And Esau might have these in every city. Okay. It says, "But blessed be the Lord who have not given us as a prey to their teeth." See, so when Esau comes in with their flood, with his military, like a lion, trying to devour the prey, the Lord's going to lift up a standard. Isaiah 59, right? 19. "So our soul is escaped as a bird out of the snare of the fowlers." You see? So Yahweh Shah is going to save the elect from the sword. So the snare is broken and we are escaped. So that trap that they're set is in vain. And how are we going to escape? Verse 8, "Our help is in the name of the Lord Yahweh Bashim Shah, who made the heaven and the earth." All right, this is where, the protection lies at. The name of the Lord is a strong tower. The righteous run into it and is safe. So that's why the Lord says to remain, within this truth through the name of Yahweh Bashim Shah. And that's the heads right there. That's how we're going to be delivered. All right, man. Anyone outside his heads here, man, hey, Esau is going to be giving the go ahead to tread you down like the mire of the streets, as you read in Isaiah the 10th chapter. See? So man, hey, we are closely approaching the time of Jacob's trouble. You know, in which the Lord is getting ready to let the dogs loose. So just want to go through that. So Lord willing, you're edified. Till next time I say shalom.